You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 431 for Sunday, the 6th of November, 2022.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. I am Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good friend Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. But I don't have Jane this week. I have David Maruka. Hello and welcome back.
Hello, Michelle. It's good to be back.
And it just seems like minutes ago that we were together in Walt Disney World having the most amazing trip.
And it's actually been almost 3 months, like coming up on 3 months. It doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't, because I can just close my eyes and imagine our wonderful time together and all the adventures we got up to, which we will be talking about in today's show.
Perfect.
One of the things that made me sort of think of before putting together some show ideas for today was, I know that you are a DVC member, so I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about, well, why did you become a DVC member and how you use being a DVC member to the maximum to get the most out of your investment. So over to you, really. When and where did this happen?
Oh, well, I think I've been DVC now for, I want to say close to 15 years. And it was my wife and I were just on a trip and we walked by one of the kiosks and, they got our attention and we kind of listened in and thought, we come here every year. Maybe we should think about actually buying into this. And we did. And it has been wonderful. It's all paid off now, which is nice. And so I only have to pay my yearly maintenance, which, keeps going up, but that's, it's Disney. So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. It has allowed me to go to Disney more times than I ever thought I would. Just being able to book a quick weekend, with a handful of points, I'm on the East Coast here. So to drive to Disney World is not a big deal. So, a handful of points and I'm there for a weekend. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I had to pay for rooms every time. So every year I probably get in, I want to say at least 3 to 4 trips a year. And I don't usually do a long, week's vacation or more than that. It's usually quick, like, a Thursday night to fly out Monday, go home. But by using just those little bit of points, it gives me so many more trips down there. And then I can experience, the festivals or an opening of a ride or, it doesn't lock me into like, oh, I'm only going for 1 week. So I have to pick that specific week and get everything in. I get to go multiple times and it's been fabulous.
So do you have a favourite resort that you've been able to stay in?
Well, my home resort is Saratoga Springs. And I like it. I would say out of all of them, it's probably the theming to me is because I'm from the East Coast, it sort of just feels like home. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not getting anything extra or special. But then I stay at something like the Poly or Old Key West. We stayed at the Beach Club, and that was absolutely fabulous. And, hotels that I would never be able to stay at if I didn't have the DVC.
I must admit, that point that you've made is the reason why to go down the DVC route, because I've been pricing up a little break for next year, and to go somewhere like the Wilderness Lodge and stay in the DVC pack was going to cost me £10,000 for just the accommodation.
Insane.
For 2 weeks. It's like, oh my word, who would literally be spending £800 a night in a hotel?
I know, it's crazy. So, but the DVC is definitely worth it from that side of it, getting to experience those resorts that I never would.
Have you been able to stay at the mall yet?
I'm trying to think. I think I may be close. I'm trying to think which one I haven't, and nothing's coming to mind. I may have knocked them all off the list.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to run them through my head here, thinking like, okay, wait, nope, stay there. Nope, stay there. So.
I was watching some YouTube yesterday and it was someone staying at the Copper Creek Bungalows, and I just thought,
Okay.
Oh my word, they've got a little jacuzzi, they pipe in the firework music. If you're lucky, you get a view of the monorail and the fireworks. They're two bedroomed, massive. You could play hide and seek in there, they're that huge. And it just looked a great place.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done. I haven't done a cabin. I have stayed at Wilderness Lodge, but it's been just in the main building. But I did do the bungalows at the Polynesian, and it was bigger than my house. I mean, I walked up to the front door. There's a doorbell to ring to go in. I couldn't believe it. I kept going in and like, wait, there's another room. Oh, wait, hold on. There's another room over here. It was amazing.
I must admit, that was just exactly like we were when we arrived at the beach club, but I'll come back to that in a moment. When you are staying in such a property, it just seems a shame to actually sully the trip and actually leave the room, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, do we have to go to the parks?
Yeah, can I just
Stay here.
stay?
Yeah,
Yeah, and make the most out of it. So
right.
we mentioned that a first for both of us was staying this last August over in the beach club.
Right.
Please talk to me a little bit about the room.
Oh, it was wonderful. You go like it's just like the other one. You go in and you're like, "There's more," and it keeps going and turning corners, and and then the property itself, the pool, you got let's say beaches and cream right there on property. I mean, how do you get any better than that? So yeah, it was fabulous.
What I loved about it is you went down this little wing and it was all beautifully carpeted, and we did decide, if I remember, that we was going to make it the Arundel Beach Club. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because,
We were doing some armchair Imagineering there.
absolutely, because it could literally be changed into a mashup between Frozen and the Beach Club, and it just was sensational. And you'd get to the door, as you say, with a doorbell, a really big wooden solid door, and you open it up and there's like a console for your keys and a big mirror, and it's like, oh my word, the reception area is bigger than most other properties' bathrooms. It was huge.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing. Like when they say, when you pull up to the DVC and you're at the gate going into the property, the guard always says, welcome home. And when you walk through that door, you really do feel like you're home.
Yeah, because we then sort of turned a little left and you go into a open concept of kitchen, come dining, come lounge, come bedroom.
Yep.
Because the sofa, if I remember, converted into a double bed.
Right.
There was a full-size fridge freezer in there, full-size oven. I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing place. I want to cook here.
Yeah. It's like, let's order some food, get some groceries in here and make a meal.
We didn't though, but we did make a
we
little
didn't.
trip up to their sort of like quick serve, come shop, come everything. And a fair few nights I did end up purchasing a little cheese board because it was like $6 and it was amazing.
Yeah. No, it was great. And our room actually was really convenient to to the gift shop there. Where you can get your food. And we actually had breakfast one morning, just, a quick grab and go and plenty of selection.
Yeah. But that's not just all of the room, though. So when you've done all of that bit and even explored outside with your own private patio, you go back in, there's a massive cupboard with a full-size washer-dryer, which was such good, amazing value for me. I was always washing things just for the novelty of washing things.
Yeah, and you had already been there for so long and you had so many clothes packed to, have that long trip. A washer dryer is great. I mean,
Yeah.
works out perfectly.
Then you walked into this area where there was this huge, and I mean huge, bath, which I did manage to get into, but I was fully clothed. It was
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, that was a party tub, that's for sure.
And then there was a massive, and I mean massive, double bedroom, again with doors out onto the little secret terrace. But then if you walked back, there was a shower for four with a basin and then a toilet. It was like never ending was this room. Literally, it was the size of 4 Pop Century rooms stuck together.
Yeah, I'd have to say, what were there, like at least 6 doors between the bedroom, the bathroom. Then there was another door that led to your own private toilet, and then another door that went out into the main room. You could get lost just going around the doors.
Yeah, and the great thing is because it had multiple bathrooms, it meant it had multiple supplies of H2O products.
Yeah, those didn't last long. I think about a minute and a half. You had those scooped up.
Technically, there was no H2O in the room, David. I guarantee you there was none there.
Yeah, I didn't see any. So
And I must admit, at some points, I couldn't even shout to the other side of the room where you were hiding. I had to message you on the phone because the room was so darn huge. You was in like the lounge bedroom area. I was in the big bedroom area. It's like, are you still awake? Are you still awake?
Yeah,
It's so funny.
yeah. Well, you had done the video tour when we first walked in, and I just found a little corner and just hid there so I didn't get on screen. So
It was an amazing place to stay. And as you said, it had so many facilities. You know, the fact that it had quite a few amazing restaurants on site. The pool areas, there are more than one pool, but we particularly enjoyed going to the park, coming back, getting a rubber ring and just floating around this little lazy river. It's not huge, but it was so relaxing to be outside at 10 o'clock at night in a pool, chilling.
yeah, I mean the fact that there's a lazy river there, you just grab your tube and the tubes are just floating around. You just hop on one and there you go. Away you go and just sort of relax and float around.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, do I have to go to the park in the morning? Do I have to go?
And the funny thing is, my kids are older now, but it's probably been, I don't know, at least 12 years since we've gone in the pools. Like we would go down, and we're the type that we leave the room in the morning, and we don't come back until the end of the night. We're in the parks all day. So to actually do that this time and take a little break and get in the pool and just relax for a little bit was a nice way to break up the day.
Absolutely. And you mentioned beaches and cream. We did have a reservation. I think that was on our first day.
I think so, yeah.
What did you end up going for? Can you remember?
I know it seems so long ago. You know what? I don't think I can remember. You didn't write this down by any chance, did you?
I think, was it the thing with corned beef, that Reuben-y thing?
Oh, yes, it was a Reuben. Because I have it mixed up with Ale and Compass that we went to another night. And I know I got the burger then, but yes, it was the corned beef Reuben, and it was delicious.
And the thing is, for me, coming from the UK, every time I see this on the American menus, I think I remember back being tortured as a child, having tinned corned beef, and it looked like sort of like a marbling fleck of fat and meat, and it just sort of like, you're gonna eat corned beef. But when it turned up, it wasn't anything like my preconception. It was like gorgeous looking, really soft meat.
Yeah, you tried a little piece there, and you didn't dislike it.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember having the onion rings as my main meal.
Yes, you did.
And the waitress just looked at me, is that all you want? Yes, I'm wanting a dessert. I'm only having ice cream for dessert. So I want my onion rings as my main meal.
I told her you were a cheap date, so it was good. Just the onion rings.
I did, though, have to have my much beloved No Way Jose, which
yes.
I always personalise because I don't like chocolate ice cream, so I put in 2 lots of vanilla. And oh my word, like back in August, it was only $11. It has now gone up to $11.50. But it was such a decadent dessert that I didn't mind having just the onion rings to start with, because I just absolutely loved that dessert, and it was just so good.
Yeah, you had to save room for it. I mean, the bowl hits the table and the table moves a little bit because it's such a big serving.
I know. It just says 2 scoops of ice cream, and you think, oh, it'll be tiny. It literally comes in a fishbowl.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Did you share, or did you get a dessert of your own?
Well, I just got a small cup of ice cream. I'm having diabetes. I couldn't really go down that sugary road. I mean, I do cheat a lot and have some sweet treats, but I can't go overboard. If I did a No Way Jose, they would have had to call an ambulance to carry me out of there.
And that's the last thing you want on holiday.
Exactly. So I have to be careful.
Yeah. But then it was so convenient being so near to Epcot, just to be able to wander into the parks and have an amazing night, and then not have to worry about transportation because it's a short walk back home again.
Yeah, just walk right out the international gate, and 5 minutes later, you're back at the resort.
And that leads into the other dinner date that we had on holiday. And this was at the Ale and Compass Lounge. No, not the lounge, the
Yeah,
actual restaurant.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had never eaten there, and I thought, okay, we're all the way over here. Let's try one of their restaurants, and it was very good.
Inside, it reminds me a great deal of a very exclusive kind of members club because the lighting was a little bit dimmed and it was very dark woods and quite
Exactly.
private seating. It was a really nice place to go if you were sort of like planning a spy mission because you could just whisper secrets across the table to each other.
Yeah, yeah. It was beautifully. The restaurant itself was beautifully done.
And we were, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, given this server. I, for the life of me, feel really bad now because I didn't write her name down. But she literally told us her whole life story.
Yeah, at one point I thought she was going to sit down with us and just join in on the meal, which would have been fine. She could have. I mean, she was very, very, very lovely.
She was so delightful, but every time she came round, she was telling us this story, telling us that story. But it was quite easy for us to guess what to start with because it is the thing that the Ale and Compass restaurant is known for, and it's their Parker Rolls and spreads.
Yes, that was fabulous. I'm trying to remember what it was. The bacon jam, was it? That was my favorite of the three that
Yeah,
I think he comes with. Oh, that
yeah.
was so good.
And she was explaining to us about this pub cheese. Now, for me, I couldn't understand what a pub cheese was because in UK pubs, we don't have cheese like that. But it was like a
Right.
spreadable cheese, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then she even told us to mix two of them together to make another flavor, or it was really good.
Oh, it was so amazing. This bacony jam was just so a little bit salty, and then you added on the cheese, and you got all this creaminess and the rolls. I again, being English, I had no idea what a Parker roll was, so I had to ask. I just kept thinking of
Yeah,
Ray
we
Parker
asked.
Jr. from Ghostbusters, but yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, no, they were delicious, and that's the thing too. You get that, and it's like, okay, we don't really need a meal now because we just ate a basket of rolls and spreads, but nope, bring on some more food.
And we kept that all the way through our entrees. And as you mentioned earlier, you went with their burger.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was the bacon cheeseburger,
This looked
and that was really
so
good.
towering as well because it was like with onion, and then you'd save some of that bacon jam just to spread it on
I
top
did,
as
I did.
well.
Yeah, that was delicious. I was a little nervous ordering a bacon cheeseburger with you because I know how you feel about our bacon, but I went with it.
You know, I was uncritical of any American bacon this trip, I will have you know.
I know you were very good. You didn't shame me about my bacon.
No, basically because it looked so amazing, it was really thick cut as
Yeah,
well.
it was done well. It was done well. Yeah.
It's the thin, frazzly stuff I don't like.
Right. Yes, I agree. I agree. No, no, I was gonna say the one thing I remember was the party next to us that they seated the children, and all the children got a full size cake, or no, they got a full size cake for the table, and then each child got a dessert to eat as well. And I was like, that poor woman. Those kids are gonna be so hyped up on sugar for the next probably days with the amount of dessert they had.
But they
Amazing.
were hyped up because one of them spilt his coke on his sister.
Oh,
Then
that's
they started having an argument, and then they gave, if you remember, they had their desserts, and then the woman cut into the cake and gave out the smallest pieces of cake I'd ever seen in my life. And it's like, well, what are you going to do with it? You know, give us some cake.
yeah, you could almost see through them. See, but that was the whole point of that restaurant. I wanted to give you dinner and a show, so that
Yeah.
was that
Oh,
worked out.
and we had entertainment with this mother and her mother and the two kids and all their toys that they had on the table. It was fascinating.
Maybe they were bringing the rest of the cake back for the father.
Probably so. He probably thought, do you know what? You two kids are so badly behaved at the table. I'm going to stay in the room and order room service, and you lot can go and eat for dinner.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
Or he could have just been sat at his laptop actually working so hard to pay for their dinner.
Well, yeah, that's it too. Somebody's got to pay for that cake.
Yeah, because they ain't cheap.
Nope, that's for sure.
I must admit, your burger was $21. I don't feel that was outrageously expensive when you compare. You can pay $20 in some of the theme parks for $1 for a burger. So I felt it was really good value.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it was good. It was a quality burger.
I didn't really want to have a big main meal. I had had something to eat fairly late on the day, so I went with their lobster and corn chowder with house made oyster cracker, which, being again, I'm the English girl in the room, we don't put crackers with soup.
Oh, okay.
So it was a bit weird. Why was I getting a cracker? It was very
Right,
good, but we dunk bread or chips in our soup from the UK.
right. Okay. Yeah, no, crackers always seem to come with soup here.
Yeah, it's one of these things that hark back from my grandma, that how to boost up a bowl of soup. She would fry chips, so what you guys would call fries, we would have them big chunky steak chips with a bowl of soup, and that would be a meal.
It works for me. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
but our server said, "Oh, the chef got a little bit overly generous with the serving of the soup for you," and I didn't even finish it. It was huge and it was so filling, and you could really see the bits of lobster in it. And I feel for $13, that was an absolute steal.
Well, that was just it for a lobster soup like that. I mean, you'd pay a lot more at other places. And yeah, I think you ordered a cup, and it seemed more like they brought you the bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And neither of
Yeah.
us fancied a dessert, even though they had all sorts of yummy things on the menu. We were going to go back to the park, and we just thought, you know what, we'll get an ice cream there.
Yeah, it was no sense spending that money on a dessert that we didn't really need at that point.
Yeah, completely agree. So, thinking away from food on our trip together, we started off in Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
We didn't tend to stay there very long. I think we were both really excited to go and look out what the room was going to be like at Beach Club. But I do remember having some dumplings and you feeling a little bit grumpy because I got mine free and you didn't.
Yeah, I was like, how did that happen? No, I always, it's just that little cart as you walk around, like from Harambe Market. It's down a little bit, and they do chicken dumplings and fries. Mr. Kamal's, I think it is.
Mm.
And it's like one of those must do little kind of quick stops for me whenever I'm in the park.
They were so good. Just what I needed to give me a little bit of a boost so we could go around, ride on Everest, and then escape. Or I think I went on Everest on my own because you didn't really get the whole roller coaster vibe at that point.
Yeah, I had just eaten, so I thought better not to.
So, thinking where we else went to, we spent a lot of time in Epcot for one particular reason, really.
Yes, the main reason, the main reason to go to Epcot these days, and it's
Guardians
not
of the
Remy.
Galaxy.
Oh, what a great ride! What a great ride. Now, I am a bit biased. I mean, you do know that how much of a Marvel fan I am, and people actually say I have a problem with it, but I don't see a problem. But yeah, I actually have gone on it a few times now. I was able to go down for the pass holder previews, so that was actually my second trip, actually getting to ride the coaster, and it's just wonderful.
I think we managed to do a Genie Plus and a paid for Lightning Lane every day because we both absolutely loved the unique motion of the vehicle. It wasn't in my opinion anyway. I didn't feel it was too spinny.
No, no, it's I found the trick for me was um, you can't really like there's certain things if you look at and as you're focusing on something, the car itself starts to turn. You have to turn like kind of turn your head with the car. If you continue to look back at the whatever you were focusing on, that sort of throws you a little bit. And that's what would throw me. Like there was one part where you go around a planet. I don't want to spoil anything, but you go around a planet and I found if I focused or I stayed with the car and kind of focused with the wherever the car was facing, I was better as opposed to like looking at the planet and then the car kind of turns away. One of the rides where I did that, I was like, oh, that wasn't good. Got to stay with it.
Whereas I was just looking at the ceiling, looking everywhere and screaming and singing and waving my arms like a complete lunatic. And I
Well, there
absolutely
was
love it.
something you looked at got your attention every time, because every time they took the photo, your hair was in front of your face. Because so the wind would blow just right every single time, and every time we got the photo, nope, no Michelle, just a clump of hair.
I know, it's so funny. Can't believe it. Even though my hair's fairly short, it just somehow managed to
It
obscure
just
my
wrapped
face.
around.
Yeah, so bad, so bad. But we had an amazing time, and it just flew by, didn't it, really?
But you did with the Guardians, though. You did have to get all 6 songs in, so that's why we had to get so many reservations for it, because you had to hear all 6 songs.
I feel super proud that I managed to get all 6 songs done in 9 rides.
You did. That's great. That's that's impressive.
So next time I'll just have to get all 6 again.
I heard though for the holidays they're putting a Christmas song in the ride, so
Do you know when
I don't
that's
know.
going in?
I don't know when it starts, but I mean, obviously it should be soon. So, but I'm going down in November. I'm hoping it's there.
Well, I'm going to keep all crossed for that, because I gather it's lots of songs stitched together rather than being an array of different songs that change each time you ride.
Right. Well, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special coming to Disney Plus. So I'm wondering if there'll be some sort of, maybe the music from the show might be in the ride. I don't know. Maybe they'll tie it together somehow.
So you've mentioned you're going down in November for another trip. Is there anything
Yes.
in particular that you're wanting to see or do, apart from riding Guardians and buying any new Marvel merchandise?
Actually, yeah. The whole reason for the weekend trip in November is we're going to hit the Christmas party. So yeah, we have our tickets for I think the 18th.
Are you going to try any of the delightful snacks that are on offer?
You know what's funny? I don't even know what they're offering. I will. I
No.
will. I will grab anything I can. I just knew, like, as soon as the tickets went on sale, I'm like, let me just get a ticket to the party, and then I'll research it later before I go and make sure I hit everything. It's not my first time doing the Christmas party, but I mean, there's nothing better than walking down Main Street and it's snowing, and just the lights and the whole vibe of the park is wonderful. But I haven't looked into what is actually being offered this time.
Okay, I'll talk to you off air about this and see what we can do to persuade you to try some of the things. But one of them
Okay.
does involve a bear claw at Cool Ship, because it looks the size of your head and it's full of chocolatey goodness and has got snowy icing on it, and it just looks to die for.
Okay, I think my numbers just went up just hearing about it. But that sounds fabulous. I'll take a little shot of insulin and we'll give it a try.
Awesome, fantastic. Sounds like an absolute great plan. Right, well, you're away there in November. I am looking forward to some top content coming back from you. I so wish I could be on that trip, but unfortunately somebody's got to go to work.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah. But David, I'd just like to end the show by saying a big thank you for coming on and reminiscing about our wonderful trip, and look forward
Oh,
to
yeah.
chatting again about any upcoming visits we may coincide with at a later date.
Yes, you never know where our paths may cross. But yes, it was fabulous. Thank you for having me on. And I will definitely, I'll send pics and give you a report on November's trip.
Perfect. If you want more content from us, you can find all past shows on DisneyDreamGirls.com, where there is an audio link to every single show, all the way back to show 1. Can we believe it's 430 stocked back there for you? Also, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at DisDreamGirls, and we also have a podcast family page over on that there Facebook at Disney Dream Girls Podcast Family. Last but not least, a bit of a shout out to our Patreon supporters to thank them for their wonderful support to ensure that we can keep this show coming out to you guys without any advertisement, which I know is a pain. Anyway, until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye for me.